How you doing? Welcome to another video. Today's video I want to talk about just being kind to yourself. It's one of the things that I try and talk about with anybody who's starting out on this journey and they're full of guilt and remorse about the things that they've done to themselves or the things that they've done to other people because of their alcohol drinking. And when you're in that shape in the beginning of this journey, it's very difficult sometimes to shake it off and to get outside of that cycle of not drinking anymore, because it's the alcohol that numbs your mind to thinking about these things. Do you get what I mean? So you're already in a vicious cycle, and it's getting out of that vicious cycle that can be difficult. It's difficult to ask somebody to do that. Look, put up with it for a few weeks, and by the time a month comes by, then if I could take you out to a month, is what I say to people, is you will feel different. You'll feel excited about the journey because you'll see how much changes you've made. You'll see how many different changes you made physically and mentally, but you've got to do some work, and oftentimes it's not until you get past those a month, 2 months, 3 months that you can actually start really digging into the work and feel confident in yourself to do the work. And in the meantime, if you're feeling those ideas of guilt, then you have to be I say to people, look, once you get to a certain point in this and you start to see the changes in yourself and you start to see how much you're improving, you will be able to look back and you'll look at your past through much kinder eyes, right? You just be kinder to yourself. You look at your past and go, well, I didn't really know any different, and I'm happy where I am now. So, I did a video yesterday or the day before. I don't know when you're going to see this video, about the guy gets on the train, he reads the newspaper, he's not the same guy that gets off the train. The two different people slightly, right? This is a quote from T.S. Eliot, or paraphrasing what T.S. Eliot said. And it is that same thing, when you go through this journey and you get to a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year down the road, you are a different person. And not just because you've allowed your life to evolve to that stage, but you've deliberately changed yourself. You've deliberately, especially if you come through our course, there is so much deliberate change day by day by day that is moving you forwards, that's moving you towards that better version of yourself. That once you get to that different person, you look back on your old self with a kind of a pity that you wish you could have thought these things about yourself back then. You wish you could have had this knowledge about yourself back then. Do you get what I mean? So the point is that you have to be kind to yourself, but in order to get to that kindness, you've also got to be hard on yourself. You've also got to be hard on yourself. You can't. It's very difficult to get to the stage where you're being kind to yourself, where you can feel kindness towards yourself, if you're not persisting, if you're not pushing yourself through. Sorry, I'm just walking over this dodgy bridge. I don't know if you can see that behind me. Oh, even the boys don't like walking across it. Look at your man in the river. If you're not willing to put the discipline in, right? If you're not willing to put the hard work in, then you don't get to that stage where you're looking back and you're saying to yourself, well, yeah, this is me now. And even though I wish I knew what I know now when I was younger, to quote another ginger-haired rock star, right? Was it Rod Stewart? At least you've made that change happen. And you're in that place now, you're in that contented phase of your life, and you're making progress from that perspective, and that is worth all the hard work. The problem is pushing yourself towards that, pushing yourself forwards, knowing that hard work is in front of you, but not understanding exactly what it entails, I try and keep things as easy and as simple as possible day to day on over on Habits Unplugged, because I know what it's like to make changes, and if you change or try and change too fast, it overwhelms people, especially people who have got guilt, or they have negative emotions about, and that's probably almost everyone, right? So when we're on this journey, a journey like this one, you have to be disciplined about yourself. You have to be disciplined about what you do. You've got to set rules for yourself and go, it's like to keep the alcohol out of your mouth one. That is a foundational rule. If you don't stick to that, then where else are you going to be? So you have to be disciplined in these things. Disciplined in the way that you handle cravings, disciplined in the way that you handle other people in your life, environments, disciplined when somebody offers you a drink, what you're going to say. And these are all things that can be, you can train yourself to do, right? So it's first understanding, well, I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do that. And then once you repeat that process, it becomes second nature to you. And then that's easy, it goes from the simple of the process to the easy of the doing, right? When you first put a process into your life, even though you'll see the process is simple, because you're battling against your own habit, it's a lot more difficult to it's a lot more difficult to live that process day by day, if you get what I mean. It's a lot easier to give in to the old processes. Oh, I'm just going to have a drink now and forget about this stuff because this is too hard. This is causing me too much difficulty. But if you're going to move forwards, if you're going to get beyond that, and, I always say there's 3 stages to this. There is stop the flow. That's the foundational stage. There is do the work, which is what we're talking about now. And then there is moving on. I'm not giving a shit about alcohol anymore, not having the desire for alcohol anymore. And if you don't have that desire, if you want to get to that stage where you have no desire, what else are you going to do? Except have the discipline of, first of all, not putting the alcohol into your mouth, regardless of what happens. Even if you have to run out screaming, and go, I'm not having, no, this is it, I'm not drinking anymore. Whatever it is that, that's the basic rule. I don't put the alcohol into your mouth. I can feel shit about it. I can feel miserable, I can go and cry in the corner, whatever, but I'm not going to put the alcohol into my mouth. So discipline keeps you on that path. Otherwise, what? The rewards that you're going to get when we're talking about the later stages of doing the work, and when you get to that stage of moving on with your life without alcohol, that becomes a reward in itself, right? So it's sticking to what you know is good. Sticking to what you know is good for you in the first place. The easy road is to give in to every whim, every craving, every backwards thinking urge that you have, and to stay in the same place, or to go backwards because you're not staying in the same place, because the alcohol is going to destroy you eventually, It's just the way that the human brain is not set up to deal with alcohol in any shape, form, right? It's meant to, you need a drink now, and then you need more tomorrow, and you need more the next day. And the more that you need, there's a pain on the opposite side of that as a balance out. For all the dopamine, you get your dopamine high, but then on the other side of that, there's the drop. And that drop becomes steeper and steeper and steeper as you're going forwards. So, it's a hard road to take sometimes. This pushing through that discomfort, pushing through that pain, but it's the only one. When I stopped drinking alcohol, essentially for me, it was part of me having such pain in my mind about not being a good dad to my son, that I didn't see a way out of that one, and that was giving me so much more pain than stopping drinking alcohol would. So it helped me on that first in that first month or two. So it is what it is. Look, there is no easy route out of the alcohol. Rather than going through the discomfort, you're not going to get an easier. It's not going to be an easy journey, right? Some of it is easy. Some people find some of the things that you think are difficult will turn out to be a lot easier than you thought. The difficulty is in sometimes digging down and pulling out the things that you don't want to mess around with, right? The ideas and the beliefs and the values that you have, and it makes you. That is confronting about this. Is you're looking at yourself and you're looking at The hard work is in grasping hold of those things, looking at them first and going, well, this is part of me, this is what I've done, not hide it anymore. And it's not just, that's the hardest part of this, is to really self-examination, and to say to yourself, well, that's shit, that's shit, that's shit. But the easy part of it is then to start applying proper values, proper beliefs to yourself, proper rules and regulations that give you a good structure for moving forwards, give you a good structure for living an honest life with yourself. You know, the most dishonest you can ever be in life is to yourself, because you know you hurt yourself more than anything else with your own dishonesty. So listen, I'll leave it there for today. It's going to get too long otherwise. Take care of yourself. Speak to you in the next one. On to the day. Bye now.